The way that you're using AI right now is training yourself to become obsolete. In the next 5 years, there's going to be two types of people. There's going to be the architect and there's going to be the operator. The operator are going to become extinct, right? The operator asks how-to questions. The operator asks questions to solve their immediate issue at that exact moment for information, okay? They use it as an encyclopedia. The architect is somebody that uses AI to draw pictures and draw paintings that are effectively systems that build on top of their own individual productivity. The bifurcation that is going to happen over the course of the next couple of years, you have to decide which avenue you're going to go down. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to avoid most common pitfalls that people fall into when they fall into the operator category. We need to be architects. We need to be spearheading the next 5 to 10 years. This is the future. And in this video, I'm going to show you how. The great bifurcation is going to turn us into two individual types of people, the architects or operators. Operators will execute tasks, competing in a race to the bottom. Effectively, you slowly erode and become obsolete as AI becomes more and more productive and you can be replaced. That is where operators fall into. Now, the architects will design the future. We will shape the future. We will look at how to be able to implement AI into businesses, into our own business, how to create SaaS products, challenge one another, effectively have Steve Jobs and Elon Musk going head to head, ramming heads, to leave you in a position where you're using AI to be able to challenge your core fundamental beliefs and come out with the correct idea. That analogy is a fantastic way of looking at AI usage. Stop asking how-to questions, and start asking it questions that are statistically powerful and data-driven that's going to be able to give you insights into industry. And that is a clear and distinct difference and why the bifurcation is going to happen over the course of the next couple of years. One group will thrive in this new landscape. One group are really it's going to make it significantly easy for one set of people. The other set, the operators, unfortunately for them, they're going to struggle to remain relevant. Everything is going to disappear. All of the opportunities are going to vanquish, and you're going to be left in a position where if you fall into the operator category, that you're ultimately made redundant. Now, the operator's trap, when it comes down to who the operator is, you receive an assignment, you receive a task, you prompt something, AI Studio, you prompt something, you ask it how I can do X or Y, AI delivers the output in a reasonable format. The result of that is that the skill becomes a commodity. Everybody can go and ask that question. There's nothing special about you writing in AI Studio or ChatGPT-5 how to do something. You are extremely replaceable by a cheaper or better alternative, most probably going to be an AI system that asks questions. I've already built 10 to 15 individual chat agents inside of companies that use their own knowledge base so that their employees can actually just ask it questions about the business if they're unsure about something specific. That effectively, without using it in that route, you've effectively become a highly inefficient cog in a machine. You're going to very quickly become an overhead, and that's going to be looked at significantly by the bosses of the company. Now, the architect's loop is a completely different landscape altogether. Who is the architect? Well, the architects operate on a completely different plane of thinking. It starts from the way that they use their brain. They have a strategic goal. They have a system design. They refine their judgment, and AI is the red team. So the core question is, the architects asks AI why or what if instead of asking it how. The result of that is that they become irreplaceable, market leaders, front runners, best-in-class employees if you are employed, and it gives you the ability to build tools, anti-fragile strategies that increase your value over time, because you have not only asked it a question, you have also challenged it and had the spar with the individual AI to find the pitfalls of the future. You've already, just by asking questions in a different way and looking at the individual AI usage in a different way, you've shaped the future of that individual business by being an architect, by being a refined judgment maker, and using AI to your value and to increase your value during that time. I can't explain the clarity between the two. The bifurcation is going to be absolutely massive, and that is exactly why. That's the difference between both of them. Ensure that you fall into the architect's loop. You absolutely have to. Do not get stuck using AI on asking it how-to questions. It's going to really cripple you. At a glance, let's look at the core difference. So we have the metric, the operator, the architect. The metric focus, the operator focuses on output and speed, whereas the architect focuses on leverage and strategy. That means that the operator gets a quicker answer 99.9% of the time because it just asks a direct question that gets given an answer. The quality of that answer, the ability for the business to be able to scale from that is absolutely zero. You're just efficiently, in a more efficient manner, making your basic individual task more successful, and that is not how the architect and that's not how to be an architect. The operator versus the architect battle is something that you have to focus on leverage and strategy. How can you use the information, the sort of burning theory that you've got, and prompt the engine correctly in order to provide leverage and strategy? Once you have that answer, you can then build systems that solve those problems and either sell them as SaaS or use it inside of your own individual company you work for or the one that you own, and you can leverage AI in the correct way. The primary question for the operator is how, but for the architect, it's why and what if. The goal is generally from the operator to complete a task, whereas the architect is to improve the system and improve efficiency. Those two things are not the same thing. Completing a task fast as an operator is not the same thing as improving a system. It isn't. The relationship to AI, operators look at AI as a tool that they can use to make their life easier and finish their day in a more speedier and efficient manner in their eyes. Whereas operator looks at AI as a partner and a business partner, a sparring partner to be able to bounce questions, a sound wall to be able to bounce things off of that will fire back actual real life logic and thinking that they can then use to implement in their systems. The outcome of both, one is that you become a operator and you are replaceable efficiency, and the architect is irreplaceable judgment and deployment. And that is the difference between the two things at a glance. Making the shift from answers to perspective. The old way, write a marketing plan for my product, seeking a direct answer, a commodity with diminishing value. You can literally just put, I've just prompted this to create this presentation for this video gamma. And this is an extremely a good example of prompting this. I didn't prompt this with a question of create me a marketing sort of output. I've actually built an automated system that allows me to be able to write a couple of sentences to deliver presentations of this sort of level and standard. So that was the way of thinking initially. Instead of using Gamma manually and going through those individual elements, use N8N to build out a flow. And I was thinking as an architect. So it wasn't write me a presentation about X. It was how can I build a system that allows me to repeatedly use this Gamma to be able to produce presentations that allow me to do it. And it was, why do I have to keep typing in these prompts? Why, what's the beneficiary? Who's the beneficiary of me doing this manually? Well, the answer to that is nobody. And what you need to do is you need to laser in on the new way of talking and leveraging AI and basically funneling all of your energy into being an architect by asking questions like, as in simulate a meeting or demand, should I say, simulate a meeting between Steve Jobs and Seth Godin to brainstorm a marketing plan for my product. That is a fantastic example of the way that you would be able to use an AI LLM to answer a question, to give it some context and thought, and with a bit of background about the product, the marketing plan and strategy, you would come out with a significantly better problem. Generate multiple perspectives, the sources of all future values, and be able to leave you in a position of strength. Whereas the operator is just left with an answer, a direct answer to his question, causing his situation to be fragile. Effectively, the operator's on thin ice and isn't going to be in a lot of trouble soon. The Architect's Toolkit, 3 prompts to start today. The skeptical investor. Critique this idea and plan from the perspective of a cynical, pattern-matching venture capitalist. Identify the top 10 reasons you would refuse to invest. So you're reversing the system. not asking it to produce a business plan. You're asking it to critique this idea and plan, why it won't work, where its inefficiencies are, and that will give you the answers that you need to be able to make improvements to the product or to the plan or idea. The Genius panel generate 10 profound questions that a panel of genius level experts in the AI field would ask about this project before starting. You're giving yourself a leg up by having the AI produce 10 questions that you are going to be asked as soon as you try and leverage this. So the architect uses it to be able to get answers ahead of time and be able to understand where the holes in the strategy are, not in order to completely disintegrate the idea, but in order for you to be able to improve it and find those issues first. The strategy battle, which is my favorite one, simulate a debate between two rival CEOs on the best way to achieve X goal, have them argue for their competing strategies, watch the transcript unfold, and see what you learn from the individual elements that are inside of it. Begin thinking like an architect immediately with these powerful perspective generating prompts. And I'll show you an example right now of this exact thing. So let's go to AI Studio. Let's turn the temperature down, and let's critique this SaaS. I don't have a document to upload to it, but critique my idea of a SaaS product that time tracks and provides productivity reports in a dashboard from a perspective of a cynical pattern driven. So we have obviously a SaaS product with that time tracks, etc. is very vague. So, but if you had a specific idea, you would be able to hit this on the nose. But this is going to give you an idea of how you would be able to leverage this and what you would be able to see from a point of view of changing your whole mindset. You've probably never asked AI a question like that. Okay, you've never asked it a question like that. So you're not the first. The graveyard of time trackers is already full. You're not the first person to have this idea. You're not even the 100th. I can name the competition without taking a breath. Toggle, Harvest, Rescue, Clockify, Time Doctor, Even Hour, the list goes on. Then you have the incumbent, White, etc. You're selling a chore, not a solution. The productivity angle is a mirage. Zero defensibility. The moat is a puddle. Go to market, schizophrenia. The spyware stigma, a feature, not a company, uninspired unit economics, the missing why now, solving a problem of a niche productivity gurus. So this is an extremely good example of what I was thinking of creating a time tracking tool. Well, these are all of the problems that you face. These are all the things you run into. You know, you're in a much stronger position to fix your offer. What's going to differentiate you from all of the reasons why you're in the time trackers are in the graveyard? That is exactly why the operator is going to become extinct, right? That is exactly why. The psychology behind the roles, the operator outsourcing thinking to basically laziness, effectively just saving him time. Values speed over leverage, becoming a highly efficient cog in a wheel. They focus on that output so that they look good immediately right now, but linear process orientation. The architect's psychology is completely different. It's augmenting intelligence, value leveraging over speed, building anti-fragile systems, focusing on system improvement and how you're going to have that strategic loop orientation to be able to improve things in the future, and how you're going to be able to ensure that you're in the best position using AI moving forward, not having the answer to the direct question right now. So the choice for you is a shovel or a blueprint. Which one do you want? As an operator, you use AI as a more efficient shovel to dig through some old dirt that you have the answers to, that AI has the answers to, so that it makes your life easier. Yes, I was just like pretending to dig there really weirdly. From an architect's standpoint, they use AI to create a blueprint for an entirely new ecosystem of a city, right? It's brand new. The AI tools available are the same for you as they are for I, which means that everybody has access to the same AI tools. I did a video yesterday about the barrier for entry for businesses has been smashed through the wall. Right, there is no further gatekeeping that's allowed. It isn't. It's everything is available. It's the way that you think that now differentiates you from the pack. It's not the tools that are available and the capabilities at hand. Your future isn't determined by the tools that you have, but by the role that you choose to play in terms of strategy. The next prompt will be your choice. The shift in thinking from your side needs to be from operator to architect. The transition begins with a single fundamental change in how you approach the AI landscape. Stop asking for answers, start generating perspective. The tools are identical. The mindset is what makes all of the difference. That is the difference between the people who are going to become architects and operators from 2025 onwards. The architects are shaping the future. The operator is the one which is failing. Which one are you going to be? Because you might go extinct if you make the wrong decision.